Credit cards are bad. I don't believe this at all. So let's talk about how to use them even if you're not making a lot of money. One common misconception about miles and points is that they're only useful if you're spending a lot of money, which means that you should be making a lot of money. But this isn't true at all. I got into travel hacking or using miles and points in college, and I'm currently in grad school. So my spending since I've gotten into using credit cards to help me travel for cheaper has always been less than about $1,000 a month. And even with that, I've booked countless flights and experiences with points that I earned through credit card hacking. So I'll tell you exactly how I did it. But before we get into that, if you know that you can't use a credit card responsibly, which means paying off the balance each month, then this video isn't for you. Start by tracking your spending and practicing responsible spending before getting into a credit card. But if you know that you have experience with credit cards and want to start taking advantages of the perks, but you don't have a high spend amount each month, that's okay. Let's talk about it. Pause for a dog to drink water and me to drink water. Y'all done? Nope. Okay. So the first thing is taking advantage of spend bonus deals. When you open a new line of credit with a credit card company, oftentimes there will be some sort of perk to using your credit card and spending a lot of money in the first few months. So there are often spend bonus promotions that you can take advantage of. I recently signed up for the Southwest Rapid Rewards credit card when they were running a promotion that if you hit the spend bonus within a certain amount of time, you would get a companion pass for a year. I know the Chase Sapphire Preferred card often will run a spend bonus promotion where for a certain period of time you'll get extra points. Like instead of 50,000, you get 75,000 points. So having your eye on a few different cards and knowing that they occasionally run promotions might allow you to open a card during one of those promotions to take advantage of spend bonuses. But spend bonuses in general allow you to receive an influx of points for spending that you already do. What's important with spend bonuses is aligning the goals and the card that you sign up for with the time that you're going to use it. So if you know that you're about to take a flight to Europe on United and you're waiting to book that flight for a good deal, it might be a good time to sign up for a United Airlines card and earn the spend bonus to pay for that flight. Or if you know that you have an expensive time in life coming up, it might be a good time to open a new card to earn a spend bonus. For example, if you don't normally spend $4,000 over 3 months, which I often don't, but you know that you have major car maintenance that you've been saving up for that needs to happen, it might be a good time to open a credit card to put the car maintenance on that card and then pay it off and also get the spend bonus for that card. When you're looking at different cards though, it's important to compare the perks that the card offers you with the lifestyle that you're living. Points can often be transferred in booking portals to book many different things, but airline cards often give you the most restricted use of those points. However, many travel cards give you specific perks that might be beneficial if it's something you were considering paying for anyways. By looking at the perks of the travel card, you can determine if it's going to be a perk that is beneficial for you. For example, in college, I opened a United credit card because I knew I was going to be flying United a few times that year, and I also knew that my TSA pre-check was expiring, and one of the perks was the United card would give me a credit back for TSA pre-check. So I actually ended up getting global entry because that was more expensive and gave me the same perks as TSA pre-check and was also covered by the United card. So the fee that I paid for the card actually wound up saving me money on the global entry as well as obviously in flights. I booked at least 4 flights that year with the points from that credit card. However, if I sign up for a credit card where the perks don't benefit me, I might end up paying and not making my money back on that card. Compare the different perks and then also know if the card is going to pay for itself. For example, the Capital One Venture X card has great travel perks that ultimately pay the high fee of the card and make it free or you come out ahead to use it. It's, I believe, a $400 a year fee, but you get $300 in travel credits as well as the equivalent of $100 in points each year on your anniversary. So the card itself is free if you use that credit one time. But then you also get additional perks like great lounge access and discounted shopping that end up saving you money and giving you experiences that you wouldn't have otherwise had by using that card. The card ends up paying you, but you do have to be able to pay that fee up front. So when it comes to actually earning points with the card after the spend bonuses, if you're not spending a lot of money, you're not actually getting a lot of points with your cards. So in college, I often opted to take on shared expenses like utilities, or if I was going out to dinner, I would pick up the tab knowing that I'd be Venmo'd for the parts of that expense that weren't my own, but I would get the points for that expense. I would especially do this on cards that had perks like you earn 4 times points at restaurants. But the key here is a friend that's going to pay you back. And I was always very strict about before we even got up from the dinner table, I needed to have everyone's Venmo. I also wouldn't pick up the tab for people that had outstanding money that they owed me. You don't want to fall into a place where you're funding someone else's lifestyle. Another great way to earn points is to take advantage of referral bonuses. If you are looking to sign up for a card and you know a friend that has one, a lot of times they'll have reciprocal referral bonuses where if you were referred to a card, you also get extra points and your friend also gets points. And if you have a friend that's interested in signing signing up for a card, refer them. I'll link all of my referral links below. If you're interested in any of the cards that I have, we can help each other out. These just give you an extra influx of points for doing what you are already doing, which is having your credit card and telling your friends about it. The best way to earn points on credit cards is spending money, but you don't want to spend money that you don't have or can't handle. So if you know that you're learning how to use credit cards, but you don't fully trust yourself, start by putting only your necessary expenses on those cards. Groceries, gas. If you have a credit card that you can pay rent on, pay your rent with a credit card. Spending on credit cards has great perks like fraud protection, as well as obviously the points and perks that you have by having the card. But by paying your necessary expenses, you're essentially earning points for something that you were going to spend on anyways. Now, the important thing is that once you've earned these points, you want to spend them wisely because you're not earning them in a crazy amounts. So it's important to be conservative with how you spend those points. That takes time. When you're looking to utilize points, it's important to shop for deals. Airlines will run promos for points. If you transfer points using partnerships, sometimes you can get more bang for your buck for each of those points. Or there are some websites or subscriptions that you can pay a small fee for and find out about good deals in advance. So if you're traveling frequently, it might be worth it to use something like FairDrop or Scott's Cheap Flights to help you use your points wisely. But if you can get the best deal for your points, then you can stretch those points even further. And then once you've used the spend bonus on a card and maybe you aren't using that card enough to really benefit from it, it's important to not close credit lines if you can avoid it. But you also don't want to be paying a fee for a card that you're not using the perks of. So I called the credit company and I downgraded the card to the free version of the card. That way that line stays open and my average age of accounts doesn't get shorter. If you're concerned about the credit card company closing your accounts due to lack of spending, you can always put a small recurring charge on that card and set it up with auto pay so you don't forget about it. Leaving the card open helps keep your credit score high because your average age of accounts is going to stay higher and your credit utilization will stay lower because you have more lines open, which means the credit that's available to you is higher and you're spending what you're spending, so your utilization will stay lower. If you don't yet have a credit card and you're looking at getting into the game, sign up for a free card. The Discover Student IT card is a great starter card. If you aren't able to qualify for a card from a credit card company, start with your bank's credit card. I bank with a local credit union. I got my first credit card at 18 through that bank. There were no perks to having that card, but it did allow me to open a credit card and start building credits. My credit limit, I think, was $500. It was really just a tester card. So the reason that I say that you should start with a free card is because then you can leave that line open and your credit history will stay as long as possible, which you want. You want to have a long credit history. That's good for your credit score. I'll also quickly go into how I go about opening cards and deciding how to do that. I don't have a crazy amount of cards. I know people with a lot more. Like I said, I never carry a balance on my card. I pay them off fully and I just put my normal spending on those cards and use spending trackers to understand my finances. But if I know that I have a big expense coming up, I open a card. And if I know that I have big travel coming up that I have to do with a specific company or airline, my history shows that I will open a card in order to cover that. So like I said, I have had the Discover IT card. I've had the United Explorer card, which was fun because that was my first taste of airport lounges and that perk. You get like 2 club passes with that. And I loved it. And while it's not like an exact monetary reimbursement for the card, you do just get like an experience reimbursement, which was great. So that was my first taste of that. I recently signed up for the Southwest Rapid Rewards card because of that companion pass perk. And I have taken advantage of the Capital One Venture X and Chase Sapphire preferred cards. In general, I don't open more than 1 credit card per year, but I think if you want to be more aggressive about it and you can hit spend bonuses every 3 to 6 months, that is a pretty safe timeline with protecting your credit score. Obviously, I'm not a financial expert and your choices are your own, but I would typically open 1 a year. And if it made sense to downgrade a card in order to open another one, I would downgrade my previous card to the free version. Hopefully this was helpful and give you a few ideas for maximizing how you use credit cards even on a budget. You don't need to be spending a lot of money in order to take advantage of these perks, which is really great. And I think if you're spending money anyways and able to do it responsibly, you may as well take advantage of the perks. Again, I'll have referral links below, so if you're interested in a card and don't have someone to refer you to it, go ahead and use those. And obviously I'll get a kickback for that, so thank you. And if you have any questions, also drop them below and I'll share my experience.